Hello and welcome to the first session of CMALT Week. This week is dedicated to the certified membership of the Association for Learning Technology accreditation scheme. Throughout the week, you will find different sessions hosted by assessors and candidates to help you understand the CMALT scheme and also help you to get your portfolio ready for submission. If you haven't already, do take a look at our website and see some of the other events that are happening throughout the week. In this first session, we'll be launching the CMALT course for candidates, an online course designed to support candidates to create their portfolio and submit it with confidence. My name is Kerry Pinney. I'm Chief Operations Officer at ALT, and I'll start just by giving you a brief overview of the project itself before handing over to some of our partners to tell you more about how we put the course together. I'll start by sharing with you some of the aims of the course, why we decided that this was a good idea and wanted to put this course together. Chiefly, it was because we wanted to provide CMOT candidates with more guidance, really, different kinds of guidance and different ways of accessing that guidance. So we have PDFs and written guidance online on how to submit your CMOT portfolio and what needs to be in it. But we wanted to provide a bit more than that, something that would really support candidates through that process. And really, what we wanted to achieve more than anything else was to give people a bit more confidence about the portfolio, about what was needed in it, and so that they could submit it with that confidence that they are, really likely to pass and get their accreditation. The other thing we wanted to do was also provide more support for some of the organisations that offer a supported route internally. So many organisations that we work with have small groups and cohorts that they bring together who work together and are supported to submit their portfolios and gain CMALT accreditation. And we hope that this course will be a framework and a source of support, really, and guidance for those cohorts that leaders of those cohorts and groups can use to help to support their CMALT candidates internally. We also wanted to take some of the existing content that we already had. As I said, is all very written content, but also try and change that and bring in some other types of content, video, quizzes, and things like that that would help to enrich the content and make the learning experience as deep as possible. So we really were just taking things that we already had and enhancing those. And we based a lot of those enhancements on feedback from some of our candidates, but also from experts within the community who gave us advice on, how to put together really good online content. And what we hope really all of this will achieve is that candidates will be able to pass first time on their first submission by having this enhanced guidance and this enhanced support that they can access at any time. So we're really hoping that we will see candidates submitting their portfolios, feeling confident about it, and getting a pass first time and receiving their CMALT accreditation. The idea to have an online course for CMALT is one that has been around for a long time in Alt, and it's something we've been discussing for a very long time. But really, the project started and really started to gain pace in 2023 when we put out a call to our members, for organizations, for companies who might be interested in supporting us to create a course. And chiefly, we were looking for kind of three areas of expertise. Firstly, we were looking for somebody who could help us with the course design and the delivery of the course, somebody who could work with us in partnership to design it, to host it, and deliver the course. So, actually putting the course together. We also really wanted to find people with course development expertise, particularly courses for professional development or online courses, and chiefly asynchronous online courses. So we were looking for that kind of professional expertise, of which we have a lot within the alt community, to help us create a really effective, accessible, and importantly, inclusive online course for our candidates. We were also looking for members to join the working group for the course. We wanted to have a group of members. What we try to do at Alt is always have member input into our activities. And so this was one of the key areas where we wanted to bring in member input, either from candidates, from assessors, from people who perhaps haven't even started their CMALT journey yet, to bring in that feedback and help us to really shape this course to meet the needs of our candidates and our members. And firstly, I want to say a big thank you to our working group. You can see the names of those who got involved with the working group on the screen there. A huge thank you to them. Throughout the creation of the course, the working group have given up their time to give us feedback, to um, get involved, many of them in filming videos and other activities to do with creating the course. But chiefly, they've taken the time to sit through the course, to read it, to give us feedback, not just on the content, but also on the way we've put the course together and the course design. And it's a really important part of what we do to bring in these members who can give us so much input onto these activities. So, a huge thank you to them. They gave up a lot of time throughout this process to put the course together and to provide us with feedback. So, a big thank you to all of them for their help. The other thing we knew that we needed when we started out is we knew that we would need a platform to actually host the course on. And at the time, in the early stages of the project, we hadn't really decided what that might look like, what platform that might be, or indeed what kind of format the course itself would take. But what we did know was that we needed something sustainable, something that we within the team, the alt team, wouldn't have to maintain. And so we felt strongly that a cloud hosted platform that would be maintained by our hosts was a key part of the decision making process about who we would work with. We hadn't, as I say, decided what kind of platform it might be, what format the content might take. So we were still very open to that. But what we knew very strongly was that we needed to find a platform that suited the course design partners too. So the people who were actually going to put the course together needed to be comfortable with the platform. The course design partner that we worked with, King's Digital, had a huge amount of experience with Moodle, and that was the platform that they used for their own online courses. And so it would have made no sense for us to have gone with a platform that they were unfamiliar with, given that they were volunteering a huge amount of staff power and expertise to put this course together. And most importantly for us is we like to work with organizations who, you know, have similar values to us, who see the importance of what we were doing. And in particular, a partner who really understood the importance of the certified membership scheme and who understood the importance of providing opportunities for professional development for learning technologists. And so we'd met for many years with Catalyst IT Europe. They have been a supporter of alt for a very long time and a long-term member. And we were really pleased when they were willing to host the course for us. So we have, and you'll see when we show you the course later on in this session, we've got a hosted Moodle platform, which is really beautifully put together by Catalyst with their own theming, and it really does look excellent. And we've got that completely hosted by Catalyst, and they do all of the maintenance for us, which is a really important part of the process. And Catalyst have a number of staff who are CMALT holders themselves and CMALT supporters. And so we felt very strongly that Catalyst would be a good partner for us in this work. So thank you to Richard, to Joey, and to Sam, who helped us greatly in putting this course together and for helping us to find a platform to support it on. As you can see, Catalyst here just sharing their feelings on supporting the course. The important thing for us was that Catalyst really understood the value of the certified membership of the Association for Learning Technology accreditation scheme, and they understood what was involved in that and why that was important for the professional development of our members and those professionals working with learning technologies. We also had a really brilliant offer when we put the call out from King's Digital, from King's College London. Um, a huge team and resource was given to us to work with to put this course together. As you can see, the number of members of staff that they dedicated to this project, can't be sniffed at. They've really gone above and beyond to help us put this course together. Bearing in mind, this is all voluntary. Kings are receiving, have received no monetary payment or any other, benefits really to put this course together. So a huge, huge thank you to the King's Digital team and the senior leadership at King's College London and King's Digital for giving us so many of their experts to put towards this course. And we really did have a huge team from King's. We had excellent project management members of the team. We had learning design experts. We had videographers, graphic and web designers. All of these individuals came together to help us put this course together. And I'll leave King's Digital to say more about how they actually put the course together and what their kind of working process is. Um, but you will also see later in the session just how much work went into putting this course together and just what a wonderful resource it is they've created for us. So a huge, huge thank you to King's Digital and to King's College London for just the pure amount of resource and effort that has gone in to the work that we've done together. Rather than telling you and repeating what King's Digital are going to tell you and share with you about how they actually put the course together, I'm just going to talk really briefly about what made the partnership with King's successful. Many of you are members, maybe creating online courses, maybe creating course content for people. And I think it's always useful to reflect on what works well in those kind of partnership relationships when you're creating content on behalf of other people, when you are not necessarily the subject matter experts. So one of the things that I felt was really important and worked really well about the relationship that we built with King's Digital was that the team really came to understand what it was we wanted to achieve. So a lot of our earlier conversations when we started this work was, what is it you actually want the candidates to get out of it? What do you want them to get out of the course overall? What do you want them to get out of each week? What do you want them to understand by the end of each week? And every kind of single activity, every kind of piece, every week that we created was very much honed to what it was we wanted to achieve and what we wanted the candidates to have achieved by the end of each piece of content, or by the end of each week of content, and by the end of the course. And that really helped to shape the rest of the work that we did as we went through. They really understood what it was we were trying to do and why we were doing it, which just made the whole process a lot easier. And while it might seem like obvious advice, really, the team asked lots of questions. So they never made assumptions about the content, about the subject matter that we were talking about. They always asked questions and really insightful questions. And this, as the kind of sort of project lead for this and one of the subject matter experts, this really helped me to think and to reflect on the content, what we were doing, what works and what didn't work. Um, and that was really important. It really supported and gave me confidence, if nothing else, that they were really understanding what what we were trying to achieve, but also what the content actually means, what what each week will do for the candidates. And that was really, really important. And as I say, it really gave me confidence in the team. And I felt really comfortable having these kind of discussions with them. And again, it's probably, is obvious advice, but really actively listening to our ideas and feedback. So the team at King's Digital, have far more expertise in creating online courses than certainly I do. And, they are learning design experts. Um, and they were very well could have told me what they think I should have been doing or what we should have been doing, but they absolutely didn't. And they were very open to our ideas and our feedback. So if we thought any aspect of the course needed improvement, maybe we might have felt that they hadn't understood the content or had sort of um, not got everything exactly as we would want it, they were absolutely open to changing any of those things. And often they would actually ask me for my feedback on what they were doing, the drafts that they were creating and things like that. And that made it so much easier to have that really open dialogue, that you know openness for them to say to me, I think actually we can make that better, or me saying to them, oh, actually, could we do this, could we change that? I'm not sure that works as well. They were very, very open to all of that kind of feedback. And most importantly in this relationship is they were guides. They never dictated to us what we should or shouldn't do with the course. As I say, they were the experts, and they very well could have just said, well, we actually think that this is the best way to do it, but they didn't. They were guiding us, they were helping us, they were giving their expertise, but all the time it was very much felt like an equal partnership. We were working together to create something. They weren't just taking my stuff, creating some content and then handing it back to me. They were very open to that feedback loop, giving feedback, changing that iterative process of creating the content. And the underpinning, you know, thing that really made the whole thing successful and sort of underpinned the whole process was the excellent project management from Elisa over the course of the project. Without that, the course wouldn't have happened. Lisa really kept us on track. She would nag when I was, late providing feedback. She would be in touch. She would make sure that I knew exactly, where the progress was in the project, what was happening. It was a really excellent example of really, solid project management, but also just great communication as well. So I'm going to leave King's Digital to say more about the process and how they actually designed the course. But I just really wanted to share, what made this course creation process work really, really well, and why, we've come out with such an excellent resource at the end. So, as I said, I'm not going to repeat everything that King's College are about to tell you. I'm going to leave them to talk you through the actual course itself and how they put the course together. Um, it's a really excellent example of course creation, design, project management, and so on. So, I'm going to leave them to do that. If you watch all the way to the end, I will give you details about how to access the course itself and go and start taking a look around the course. But first, over to Kings to tell you more about how they designed the
Hello,
course.
welcome to this presentation about the new CMALT Candidate Course, a collaboration between Old and the King's Digital team at King's College London. I'm Elisa Valarani, and I'm a project manager at King's Digital, and together with my colleagues, we're going to take you through the story of how we developed this course. At King's Digital, we collaborate with academics and professional services staff across the university and with our external partners to design, develop, and deliver a wide range of educational programs. Our team is made up of people who are passionate about learning design, video production, game design, learning technology, visual design, and many other areas, and work together to create the best learning experience possible for our online students. Many people in our team have gained or are working towards CMOT accreditation, so we were excited to collaborate with OLD on creating a short course for CMOT candidates. We're here today to give you a flavor of the course and to share some insights from our experience of developing this resource. This has been a great partnership project. Many people have been involved in shaping this course. The development has been led by a multidisciplinary team from King's Digital, comprising of a project manager, learning designers, a content developer, visual designer, a quality assurance officer, and a media producer. You will hear insights from each of these roles through the presentation. We've been working closely with Carrie and Fiona from Alt to ensure the course is designed to meet the needs of the audience. Alt also established a CMO course working group to provide feedback and input at key stages in the development process. The brief from Alt was for us to create an asynchronous and facilitated online course based on Alt's existing resources to to help candidates develop their portfolio. Here are the guiding principles we were working within. Inclusive, the course must be inclusively designed and fully accessible. Asynchronous, candidates must be able to register and complete the course at any time. Unfacilitated, candidates must be able to complete the course and all of its activities without the presence of a facilitator. Time limited. Candidates must be able to complete the course within a specific number of weeks. Sustainable. All materials must be maintainable without the need for any specific expertise. Easy to administrate. The course must require little administration to run effectively. Accessible. The course must be easy for all and its members to access. Firstly, Michael Kay, one of our learning designers, will talk about the structure and content of the course and about the learning design decisions that have shaped it.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm one of the learning designers on this project. Learning designers at King's Digital are responsible for pedagogical decisions about the structure and content of our courses. We work with academics and other project partners to design learning that is informed by research and evidence. Now, I'm going to show you some key features of the course, and in the true reflective spirit of CMALT, I'll take you through our thinking process in designing it. When we started, we had a few key design questions that we were considering. Here are three of them. Firstly, how could we design something that gives learners who are at the start of their CMALT journey clear direction but allows more experienced candidates to dip in and out? Secondly, how could we design something self-paced but that also offers a motivating timescale and structure for those who would benefit from that? Thirdly, how could we design something that would be clearly structured and easy to navigate, but also offers more tailored guidance to A CMALT, CMALT, and S CMALT candidates? So, should we design this as a reference resource or as a structured linear course? We decided on a structured course that would also be easy for candidates to dip in and out of depending on what support they need. To give a brief overview of what we eventually decided and what we have produced, the course is self-paced but arranged into 6 weeks that follow the order of the portfolio. Week 1 introduces the CMALT scheme, the different pathways, and provides some guidance on the contextual statement. Weeks 2, 3, and 4 go through core areas 1 to 4, including tips about what to include and how to reflect on your experience. These weeks also include an example portfolio for candidates to assess for themselves and MCQs to allow candidates to check their understanding and receive feedback. In order to build in skills development, these 3 weeks also include more general guidance and tips to help candidates to write their portfolios. For example, week 2 also focuses on description, reflection, and evidence. Week 4 then expands on this by going into reflective practice skills in more detail. This means that candidates going through the course in order will be able to practice and build up these skills. Week 5 covers the specialist and advanced areas that are relevant for the CMALT and senior CMALT pathways. For each of these, there is a video interview about how current CMALT or senior CMALT holders approached writing these areas. Week 6 is all about how to submit your portfolio and what happens next. This includes checklists to make sure candidates have everything ready, advice on developing a writing plan, and information about the assessment and about assessors. All weeks include reflective journal steps that encourage candidates to record their thoughts about what they have learned that week. At the end of each week, candidates are supported to start drafting a section of their portfolio and then to reflect on their progress so far. The aim is to equip learners with a solid foundation of core knowledge and skills and address any gaps before they write most of their portfolio, thereby increasing their chances of passing the first time. Candidates who follow the structure should finish the course with a thorough understanding of the requirements, several draft sections, and a clear plan for writing the rest of their portfolio. However, the course is self-paced, so they can choose what they would like to complete and when. Through our learning design workshop with Alt, we decided on a design approach underpinned by three key things: active learning, effective scaffolding, and thirdly, learner and assessor voice. I'll start by looking at active learning. Rather than making a reference resource, our aim has been to build learners' confidence by breaking the process down into manageable chunks and providing frequent opportunities for practice. In the materials provided by Alt, there were many examples of great synchronous activities that we have integrated in an asynchronous self-paced format. For example, this week 1 thought shower activity to generate overall portfolio ideas. We have also turned a mock portfolio by Frank into a series of Your Turn to be an Assessor activities. Learners assess parts of the portfolio against ALT assessment criteria and compare their findings to some model feedback. When including activities, we also benefited from King's having its own CMALT mentoring group, for which I've been one of the mentors. The group runs support sessions for annual cohorts of CMALT candidates from around the university. These sessions focus on the different portfolio sections and on key skills such as reflective practice. To run these sessions, we have developed lots of resources relevant to the different portfolio sections, which we have drawn on for this course. For example, this week 2 Benefits and Constraints exercise that helps focus ideas for core area 1. The reflective practice materials in week 4 also draw on the CMALT mentor group materials. In our discussions with ALT, we heard that candidates often struggle with expectations around reflective writing, and this is the most common reason that portfolios don't pass the first time. With this in mind, we considered a thematic or pathway-based structure, but we decided on a weekly one. Although in a self-paced course people will pick and choose what feels most useful to them, we felt a more defined structure would allow for better scaffolding. A candidate who doesn't know they need to improve their reflective writing could easily miss guidance and activities on this because they aren't looking for it. They might not find out until they've already written most of their portfolio or even submitted it. So, having a weekly structure has allowed us to embed reflection guidance in the beginning of week 2 and then to build on this in week 4. We have also included a weekly reflection activity on the portfolio writing process itself, which we hope will gradually build learners' confidence and encourage reflective writing as a positive habit. You're now going to hear from our content developers, Tash Ferenzi and Bobby Apps, for a more technical perspective on creating this course. They describe how they were able to replicate the high standards of accessibility and UX design that we uphold in our own King's Digital courses within the external Moodle instance that we are using for the CMALT Candidate Course. This has been provided by Catalyst. As they explain, they were able to do this because of the King's Digital Design System, a toolkit and process we use for building our courses on our own Moodle instance, Keats.
Hi, I'm Tash, and I'm one of the e-learning content developers working on this course.
Hi, I'm Bobby. I'm also a content developer working on the CMALT course.
Content developers create programs built in Keats using our design system. Build begins when a learning designer hands over a storyboard, which the content developer uses as a blueprint to make the actual online lessons that the student will access and adds it to Keats. Building this involves writing out the storyboard as HTML using design system components. King's Digital's design system is a toolkit for modular, consistent, and reusable design for online programs in Keats. The building blocks are the fonts, colors, icons, and buttons we use to make components, page layout features, and interactive elements. The designs created help teachers make the most of Moodle's existing tools and add further interactivity to their courses, as well as supporting a broad range of media and activities to cater for varied student preferences. It also makes courses easy to use from any device and compliant with accessibility regulations. Other advantages of using the design system are that it's centrally supported core technology. It's easy for students to use and faculty to edit, and having a single platform allows us to focus on configuring and improving Keats based on our UX research. We have more control over Keats than other technologies, meaning that we can customize it based on the specifics of our online education context and the insights generated by research with our users.
To improve our consistency and efficiency when working with the design system, the content developer team started to think about ways to streamline and automate our approach to building content. Our old method included manually copying and pasting code from the design system and then inputting written content. A few years ago, we moved towards using a GitHub repository to store code snippets from the design system, which we use in conjunction with Visual Studio Code. Recently, we completed an update and worked on improving these snippets and have rolled this out to our growing team, making this method an evergreen approach to working. Our repository is stored in the King's College London GitHub with shared access between the content developers. We have a README file in our GitHub repository where we detail how to use the snippets for new members of staff and provide a reference list of the components and prefixes needed to trigger the design system code in Visual Studio Code. We also host additional information regarding best practice specific to the content developer role and any corresponding snippets. We have a JSON snippet file where we replicate the design system components and use helpful tab triggers where it is relevant to action and input. For example, changing header sizes, editing alt text, adding classes, and inputting written content. Any changes released in the design system or updates to snippets can then be committed by an ELCD and pulled by the rest of the team using GitHub, ensuring that updates are rolled out and consistently implemented into our courses. This approach to working has greatly improved our consistency and tracking, and during which highlighted many areas for discussion for the content developers in our contribution to producing online material, something that as a team we continue to commit to uphold best practice.
Our main priorities are ensuring consistency across the modules and programs we create, building with accessibility in mind, and creating page structures that are logical and easy to navigate. We also focus on selecting appropriate components that can branch out and change to accommodate different types of learning. Using the design system enables us to build learning components with an emphasis on reusability, consistency, and designing at scale.
As it is hosted on the Moodle LMS Catalyst, we worked with the web developers at King's Digital to import our design system into Catalyst. We retained most of the components and activities we use internally with a few adjustments made. To aid these adjustments, we work closely with the learning designers to factor in changes into the learning materials, and our web development team made customizations in our CSS and JavaScript source code to adapt the design system and ensure the students' experience of the platform followed our best practice at King's Digital.
Bobby just mentioned collaborating with learning designers, and one thing we worked very closely together on was which activity or component to use for the end of week reflections across the course, which I mentioned before. These activities aren't directly tied to one of the CMALT portfolio sections. Instead, they aim to keep learners on track and give them an extra bite-sized opportunity to practice their reflective writing skills. Originally, these were imagined as an OU blog activity. This is a format we often use on our other courses. They were envisaged as a collection of private individual blog posts that learners could refer back to and use as inspiration for parts of their portfolio. However, the activity was not available on Catalyst. Our content developers suggested instead that the wiki activity could be a good alternative. Candidates can create pages for each reflective activity and then view all of the reflection pages they have written so far at this link here. Since reflective writing can be quite a personal activity for many people, we also added an instructional alert explaining the level of privacy candidates can expect. All of the discussions and adjustments that take place throughout the production process mean that a thorough QA process is vital. Here is Layan Wong, one of our QA officers, to explain it.
Hi, I'm Lai, the e-learning quality assurance officer for this course. E-learning quality assurance officers ensure that King's Digital courses have the best quality standard possible. We view the courses from the learner's perspective and flag anything we see that may compromise their learning experience. Primarily, we do QA checks 3 times in the whole production process, during storyboard stage, after build, and on the go-live date. When the learning designer completes a storyboard, it gets handed over to us to perform QA checks. During storyboard QA, we proofread and copy edit the content to ensure that it aligns with King's editorial style guidelines and our own QA practices. Things we look out for include grammar, spelling, punctuation, formatting, accessibility, and inclusive language. Accessibility from our point of view includes checking that all images have descriptive alt text and/or view description components, numerical tables are screen reader friendly, etc. Inclusive language includes using gender-neutral terms, using plain English, flagging any language that is insensitive or outdated, and anything that may other a group of people and disrupt their learning experience. Then, after storyboard QA, the storyboard goes back to the learning designer and the academic module lead for review, and subsequently into build. After build comes build QA. This is when we check the content on Keats to ensure its accordance with the storyboards and its seamless functionality. During this stage, we also check for accessibility issues within alt text, transcripts, text formatting, and downloadable documents. We complete fixes in Keats where possible and assign tasks to relevant colleagues where their input is needed. We do this by using a QA log, a spreadsheet where we record these issues on. Another kind of QA check we do that tends to fall outside of the linear production process is media QA. where we review the media produced for the course, edit captions on Cultura, and create and upload transcripts to Keats. This makes the media accessible.
Lai finished by talking about media QA, and you saw a snippet from one of the videos in this course. We have several videos in the course featuring CMALT holders and assessors talking about their experiences. To learn more about these, next you'll hear from our media producer, Evelyn Huang, about making these videos.
Hi, I'm Evelyn, and I'm the media producer for this course. I will give you a brief introduction to my team and my role and walk you through the media production process for this online course. King's digital media team consists of media producers, video editors, and visual designers. Media plays an important role in digital learning. Our team is responsible for producing high-quality, engaging multimedia materials that simplify complex learning points, provide compelling case studies, and bring our courses to life. Our production process is both creative and technical. As a media producer for this course, I led the media production through ideation, production, and sign-off. In pre-production, we first ran through the media ideas with Kiri and Fiona, who then provided feedback or gave us the green light for production. We then started preparing, scripting, and scheduling with our contributors. We were fortunate to have over 10 CMALT holders and candidate volunteers who contributed valuable insights to this course, which greatly enriched the content. During production, I had 3 amazing people assist me in the studio each day of filming: Dan, Christina, George. To match the alt branding, I chose to use green lighting to mimic alt's brand color as the background. By featuring a diverse range of holders and assessors who shared their experiences and provided tips, this collaboration allowed us to create a media experience that truly reflects the diverse expertise and insights within our course. In post-production, our senior video editor, George Knowles, worked tirelessly to ensure that all media met the highest standards. In summary, the media section is all about creating engaging, innovative, and technically sound multimedia content that enhances the learning experience for our students, ensuring that King's Digital remains at the forefront of online education.
As Evelyn mentioned in her clip, we were extremely fortunate that so many people from the Alt network were willing to give their time to record media for this course and were naturals in front of the camera. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed the process as much as we did. Alongside active learning and effective scaffolding, we felt that integrating learner and assessor voices would really bring the course to life and make the key concepts more concrete for candidates. The videos include top tips from candidates and assessors and a discussion about how to approach description, reflection, and evidence with a particular focus on high quality reflection. While guidance on all of these is provided in the text, the media pieces have allowed us to bring in the perspectives of assessors and CMALT holders in conversation. We also hope that these media pieces will reassure and motivate candidates. Compiling a portfolio is hard, particularly when doing it in a self-paced way, and for most candidates there will be ups and downs. We hope that hearing a diverse group of assessors and candidates speak in their own words about their experiences will encourage others that they can do it successfully too. Alongside our media pieces, the course is also enlivened by several engaging illustrations. These were produced for us by our visual designer, William Matthews, who drew on some of Alt's own imagery. Our visual designers are responsible for a wide range of visual elements such as infographics, illustrations, visualizations, and animation. Visual designers liaise with King's academics and with King's digital team. They rely on a combination of design principles and best practices in educational settings to create visuals and animations that are accessible and engaging. The approach of our visual designers is to firstly understand the needs of our academics, to work with them to identify common difficulties faced by their students, and to identify material that would benefit from a visual or an animation. In the case of this course, Alt has an established visual approach and style guide. This means that we need to take this into account when considering creative output, and we've relied heavily on past creative work and guidelines to inform our design choices here. William looked for imagery that reflected the visual styles currently employed by Alt and restricted the graphics to just a few shades of green with strategic use of yellow and white to draw attention to design elements. To round off our short tour of the new CMALT Candidate Course, we want to say a big thank you to everyone who made this possible. We were lucky to have extremely valuable feedback from both the Alt CMALT course working group and from CMALT candidates at King's Digital. All of this feedback prompted us to reflect on and refine our approach. Thank you to everyone who contributed. We hope that this course will be really helpful for current and future CMALT candidates across all pathways.
So now you've heard how it was made, go to go.alt.ac.uk/alt online courses or scan the QR code on the screen. Click Create New Account and enter a username. The system will tell you when you submit the form whether that username has already been used. Enter a password, your email address, first name and last name, and optionally you can enter a town and country. Click Create New Account and you'll receive an email to the email address you provided. Click on the link in the email to confirm your account. And now you have your account, you can go ahead and enroll on the CMALT course itself. So if you're not already on the screen, if you can't already see it, go to go.alt.ac.uk/CMALT guide. Click on Enroll Me at the bottom of the screen, and you should be enrolled and ready to look through the course. You're welcome to take the course in full from start to finish through each week, or just dip in and out as you see fit. It's entirely up to you. We hope the course is really useful to you, and we would really love to hear your feedback. And if you need any help while you're using this course, if you need any help with your CMALT journey, then please email cmalt@alt.ac.uk and we'll be delighted to help you. I hope you enjoy the rest of CMALT week. Take care, and we hope to see you at an Alt event again soon.